So I now have the distinct privilege to introduce your last speaker of our session today, who is Mathieu Nebra, who actually, besides being the founder of a company that's really on the cutting edge of open learning and open classrooms specifically, has actually been working in this space for 16 years at the ripe old age of 30 years of age, so more than half of your life doing this. So he's not only an expert on what he's going to share with you now, but on a lot of other things pertaining to education. So please remember that for the discussion that's to follow. And now, Mathieu Nebra.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I have 3 minutes to explain 16 years of my life, so I'll make it quick and simple. Do you know what this is? This is an amphitheater from the 19th century. In fact, for more than 150 years, education has remained the same. You have a teacher in front of an audience of students. The teacher knows, right? The teacher speaks. And the students, they listen, and they take notes quietly. That's how education is happening still today. As of today, this is the main way we see education. But I think that we must do better, and we can do better. I think students could talk to each other. I think that the education, the classroom, could be more open, in fact. So my own story started when I was 13 years old. That's me. It was Christmas, and my parents, well, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, they asked me, what do you want for Christmas? And I told them, I want to create a website. I want to learn HTML. So they bought me this book, this HTML book. And it sucked. I had a hard time understanding how it worked. It was really complex for me, and it was intended for people who had already knowledge. So I went back to the library, and I tried to find, another book. But all the books were targeted at professionals. And I was a beginner. I was 13 years old. And it was so hard for me to find a book suited for a beginner like me. So, out of luck, I decided that I would teach to people how to make websites the way I wanted to learn how to make websites. So it was pretty easy for me, because I just talked to myself, my old self. Like 2 months ago, I thought, yeah, that's what you should learn. That's complex, but you'll get back to this later. And this is how I created a website called, at the beginning, Le Site du Zéro, which is now called Open Classrooms. It's a startup with more than 35 people. And the website has changed many, many times. This is one of the latest screenshots you can see. So you have text-based courses, you have video-based courses. But the most important thing you have to remember here is that it has grown into a larger community than I could ever dream of. We have more than 1 million members on the platform, just 1 million members in the French-speaking world and some now in the English-speaking world. And we have 3 million unique visitors coming to the website every month, from France, from Canada, from Africa. And this is how it has started, and this is how I learned how to make good content, good online learning. So now you have more than 1,000 courses online at Open Classrooms, and students can create their own course. They don't need to prove they're a teacher, they're a professor. They just have to try, and everyone tries to make a good course, and if it's good enough, it's published on Open Classrooms. We work on that very hard, and now we are connecting students together. We are creating mentor, so you can be the mentor to someone else to explain to a peer how he should learn. That's, well, 16 years of work that I try to sum up. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you.
Well done. 3 minutes, everyone. So now we're just going to have a tiny chat, and I get the privilege of launching that discussion. So I'm going to kind of take from the opening and ask you, through education and all of the opportunities that we have in front of us, how do we reach those individuals and those communities that we are not reaching today? And then, in doing so, what are the other social, economic discussions that we are ending up having to deal with? Because education does have impact on so many other things. Who wants to go?
That's a subject for a PhD dissertation.
Okay, but you've got 2 minutes.
That's a broad question.
You got 1 minute, 1 minute each.
Go ahead.
That's a broad question. I don't know. We already are teaching to many people, millions of people. That's working.
Millions.
That's happening. Millions. With just some courses, you can help millions of people. But yeah, we have challenges. We have obviously challenges in Africa because people do not have enough bandwidth, internet access. So that's something infrastructure-wide we have to address. And then we have to think about the population who are not well educated. Because I think what we've done works well for people who are already a bit educated and they are able to learn alone. Now we are going to reach people that do not know how to learn alone. They need help. This is why we've created this mentorship system, for instance, at Open Classrooms. So we need to have more human connections so anyone can learn now online with the help of someone.
Well, my key word for that is, as much as it is a large one, is really communication. Because we can definitely make sure that we communicate available opportunities for learning to people that are in need. And it really is as much as complicated, but also as simple as enabling people to have online access. Really, making internet finally a free entity for everyone. Where people can really start looking for opportunities for learning. With my work, it is important that I, go and find those very talented people. They're often in small villages, and I think, the only thing that are important for us is just to find the talent. Not necessarily, it doesn't matter where they are, but the fact that they have online access makes it possible for those people to be, even in a small village, to sit down and talk with a Harvard graduates, being somewhere, thousands of miles away, and that really is an eye-opener for those young people. We need to make sure, I mentioned curiosity, but also we need to make sure that people are aware of their potential, first of all, and that they're capable of really, doing whatever anyone else can of those more privileged people.
So it's begging the question about human rights, actually, and the opportunity for everyone to self-realize, and the role, indeed, I think the technology plays in that, and the question of whether access to the internet is a human right. But let's not go into that topic. Let's take a couple of questions from the floor, since we don't have a lot of time. Is there anyone who would like to take the opportunity to ask these 2 amazing people about...
Cheryl.
Or this, less amazing?
No.
Anyone? No? Otherwise, I'll just keep barreling along, of course. All right. Then, your network is it's still about people.
It's all about people.
150 people. You started from technology, but realize you've got to get a mentoring program.
People think that it's always about technology, and technology will save the world in education, but that's just not true. That's what I discovered. You need to make people talk together, and that's not new. Technology is not just an enabler of the education, not a solution.
In my case, it's 200 people who are mentors. Those who receive help so far has been hundreds. And it is just a beautiful thing to look at those people. What I have found it is just a channel, because those people really, they collaborate, they communicate together. And, I understand how, students of really good universities are busy, but they still find time to do it for free. It's a really social initiative that we are in, and I'm so proud to be part of it.
Okay, well, wonderful. Our time is up, I'm afraid. May I ask for another round of applause for these wonderful people? And we will go to the next session now.
Thank you.
Thank you.